Hi, Christine again, talking to you today because I know there have been many concerns expressed about by people with fibromyalgia, asking if they are more susceptible to contracting the coronavirus because of fibromyalgia. And I just want to take a moment to speak to that question. Because I would like to relieve some anxiety if I can. Now, the fact is that fibromyalgia itself is not an autoimmune disease. While being treated by a rheumatologist, she used to check me for different autoimmune diseases, because often people who have autoimmune diseases often have fibromyalgia. So I have been checked for things like lupus and Sjogren's and a few other. Those were the ones that she was looking for the most, but they never showed up. So we don't need to be worried just because we have fibromyalgia about our being more susceptible. That's not a concern. Fibromyalgia these days is considered, there's no known cause for sure, but it is considered most likely to be a condition in the central nervous system. And that's a pretty broad area because the central nervous system starts in our brain, and then there are nerves that run all through our body. And it kind of makes sense because the pain that we have runs all through our body. And that's the only reason that they have found for that makes sense to the medical community, to the research community. So that's where they think it is. That being the case, it does not make us have autoimmune problems or have immune issues. Okay, so really, just because we have fibromyalgia does not make us any more susceptible to the coronavirus than anyone else. That being said, we should still stay home and stay self-isolated when we're advised to do so by our government leaders. We should stay 6 feet apart. And any social distancing anytime that we need to go out, and we should be going out for essentials like groceries, medications, doctor's visits, not to visit a neighbor, to visit a friend. That's not an essential. If you happen to be someone who's working in an essential industry, then going to work is acceptable, but then you're supposed to practice social distancing and stay 6 feet away from anyone. And as long as you keep that 6 feet away, you should be safe. Because that's what they've said is safe for all of us. So my advice to you is follow the directions being given by the governments, and don't worry. Worry is not going to help you either get it or get over it. It's not going to keep your friends and loved ones from getting it. The only thing that will keep any of us from getting this virus is to self-isolate, to wash our hands thoroughly for 20 seconds often, to stop touching our faces, and to keep social distance when we do go out for essentials. Following those instructions, we should be fine. So I hope you find this somewhat reassuring. I'm not sure why you would believe me more than believing the professionals that are on the media all the time, but I do have fibromyalgia, and I have studied this a lot. I know fibromyalgia, and it doesn't make us any more susceptible than someone who has, any other non-autoimmune disease. And really, that's what we have. So only be concerned about your being more susceptible when it becomes time, should you possibly need testing. But as far as taking care of yourself in the meantime, just follow the instructions. Stay home, self-isolate. If you have to go out, keep your distance 6 feet from anything. Watch surfaces. When I go out, I put on plastic gloves before I leave my apartment so that my hands are protected. If I touch anything, it doesn't matter, because as soon as I come home, I rip my gloves off and go out and wash my hands. So there's very simple, practical steps that we can take to stay safe. Just take them and stop worrying. Worrying isn't good for you. Worrying causes our pain to get worse. So the next video that I'm going to do will be one on calming techniques. So look out for that one too. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.